Can you really win a contract in 90 days? The answer is yes. When it comes to federal government contracting as well as state level government contracting, it boils down to a need. They need something. They may need a person to do the thing. So as long as you are able to provide the product and service and meet their criteria, you could easily win a contract in 90 days. Brandon Hendrick, who I interview on the channel, first time he bid, he won $5 million contract. There are those who have privately emailed me. I got a DM in my Instagram the other day. Hey, I followed your videos. I won my first contract. And these can range from thousands of dollars to millions of dollars. But I'm gonna go over what those keys are that you must understand to be able to do that. Because winning is easy. Maintaining, having a profitable, long-term business, that's where people run into some issues. And I've been there, that's how I know. When I first started out 15 years ago, for those of you who may not know, I was a graduate research fellow at Patrick Space Force. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was funneled under a professor in Tennessee. I was getting paid. I thought, okay, this is great. And then I'll figure things out, get my big girl job, be Dr. Part, and go on about my business. Well, I was given this opportunity to subcontract. And I thought, oh, this is great. I'm making about 6 figures. This is equivalent to what I would have made as an employee. And then I started looking around within a couple months and I was like, I don't want this. I don't want to be comfortable. I don't want to just get by. I want to really grow this. So then within about 5 months, I went from having a sole proprietorship and then I created KPC and formed an S corporation. Because I was like, I want something bigger. I want to have hundreds of employees. I want to have a lot of contracts. I don't want to just have this one contract, because what would happen if they decided they didn't want me anymore? What other work would I have? And I never wanted to have a job. There's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with having a salary. I think working for the federal government is one of the greatest things you can do because they offer a pension. But I didn't want any of that. And so I learned what it takes to have ongoing revenue. How do I get a vendor? How can I get pharmaceutical drugs for medical contracts? When it comes to pharmaceutical drugs, you must meet the requirement. Typically for pharmaceuticals, as with weapons, usually requires different certifications. So if you don't have those certifications, then you're not going to be able to provide it, right? So instead of offering pharmaceuticals, maybe you offer something else. Maybe you're offering the refrigerator to hold the pharmaceuticals. Maybe you're offering food. Maybe you're offering medical supplies. Who knows? But to win a contract, whether it's 90 days or it's 9 months, a year and a half or something, it's about, are you able to offer what the government wants, the way the government wants it, in order to win it? That's what's key. So what you may want to do, perhaps you identify government contractors who sell pharmaceuticals so you can learn from them, right? And then help them in some way. In that way, you're getting paid, you're learning, and you can start your own business. That may be a move for you. How to make the business sustainable, ongoing revenue. Let's dig into that. Can you really win a contract in 90 days? The answer is yes. I firmly believe everything is possible. Is it necessarily going to be the kind of contract you exactly want? Maybe not, but there are tons of contracts you can win. For example, if the federal government wants 20 of these Sony cameras and you're able to provide these 20 Sony cameras, you have the money, you're able to get them, you are going to meet the criteria that they're looking for, why couldn't you win? Now, are you gonna make a ton of money doing that? Maybe not, but you're gonna make something, right? Is that gonna give you enough to leave your 9 to 5? Of course not. Is that going to give you enough to be on a yacht? No. Is that gonna get you enough for financial freedom? Of course it isn't. So how do you get to that point? The point of it is, number one, you want multi-year contracts. Many of the government contracts are what's called a base plus 4. So it's 5 years. And for instance, a gentleman who I mentor, he has a contract for waste removal, debris removal. So he subs his work to Waste Management, the green and white company. They take care of all the waste, and it's a 5-year contract. So every month he earns revenue for this contract. We have contracts, full-time equivalent. They're people doing the thing. So they're doing training, providing religious services, providing admin services, and we invoice, and every month we have monies coming in because of their work. Now on the product side, it's a little different because how often does an agency need cameras? You're gonna have to find a lot of different agencies who are going to also always want cameras. So maybe It's akin to having an Amazon store where you sell a variety of products. So maybe you're selling cameras, and you're selling eggs, and you're selling cheese, and you're selling carpets, and you're selling paint. Who knows? But what's key with the business model, you have to have ongoing revenues. Unless you're someone who's like, listen, I just want to win a couple things. And that's cool. If you want to win a couple things, there's no reason you can't win a couple things. You have to be honest with yourself. That's what's vital. Unison is a government contractor. They want us to use their platform because we pay Unison a fee anytime we win. So yes, they will call. They recently called me from a number in Virginia, and they said, oh, I'm calling on behalf of Unison. There is this requirement for IT training, and I'm calling to see if you're bidding. When I say bid, I mean submit a proposal, respond to the solicitation, where you are writing, it's like papers on papers, right? It's way thicker than this typically, but not always. You are creating a written proposal and submitting it electronically to the federal government. So on the federal government side, it's typically sent as an Excel, a PDF, a combination. State and local is a little different, but the federal government is usually emailed, PDF or Excel. You figure out what you charge based on several factors. There's a lot of factors based on, most importantly, what does it take to win? Secondly, what is it going to cost you? Third, what kind of profit can you put in order to win? So those are just some basics. Bonus strategy is you can go online on Sam.Gov, fpds.gov to see what was paid in the past. For the most part, if it's something super unique, you may have to just kind of figure it out. And then here's another bonus strategy, y'all. When it comes to the federal government, you can email them and ask, you ready? Write this down. Is there an incumbent? If so, what was the contract number and the contract value? And then they'll let you know. Then you're like, oh wow, this is for 5-year janitorial service and the contract value is $57,000. You may say, heck no, I ain't doing that. Or you may say, oh my gosh, okay, that's kind of cool. They only want the service once a month. I might make a couple $100s a month. It's cool, it gives me past performance. Why not? Because majority of people aren't going to bid on a janitorial contract that's $57,000 for 5 years. So your win rate is going to be higher because most people aren't going to want to go there. What helps you read bids that are 35 to 50 pages long, start to finish? You are looking for, write this down, what is the evaluation criteria? Sometimes it's under basis of award, evaluation criteria. If they say evaluation criteria is based on past performance, and if you don't have past performance or you can't make your past performance work, why bid? It's just not for you. That's okay. Number 2 is, can you and do you want to do what they're asking you for? That's the second thing. It's usually under performance work statement or statement of work. Number 3, are you going to be able to deliver what they're looking for by the deadline? Is it just a quote? Is it a 3-volume document? Is it that they're looking for resumes? Are you going to be able to do this? And most importantly, if this is a product-based opportunity, where will the funds come from for you to sell the cameras, to sell the bean, to sell the eggs, sell the cheese? Where are you getting the money? That's how you approach 30, 50 page document. Do we put money up front for products and services and wait to get reimbursed? So just recently, a gentleman reached out, was like, oh my gosh, I'm a newbie. I made a critical mistake. I won a contract and it's for a product. I don't have any funding. What do I do? I said, you have to figure it out. You know, there was a time when we had a contract with the National Guard and I needed all these things printed at Office Depot. It came to $5,000. I didn't have $5,000. I remember crying on the phone as my team member was at the Office Depot. And thank God, Office Depot had a very special store credit kind of offering. And so I was able to get a line of credit with Office Depot. So it sucks in that position, but you guys got to figure it out. So it may be credit cards, it may be funding, friends and family, a line of credit, getting it from the vendor. That's the case when it comes to products. So keep that in mind, because if you're like, oh my gosh, I found a connect to get 50,000 pounds of butter. Do you have the money to pay for 50,000 pounds of butter? And if you do, cool. But if you don't, you never, ever give a contract back. It's the worst thing you can ever do. So just keep that in mind. This is the time. Bid, bid, bid. The government is looking to spend millions, right? And next fiscal year is an election year. So this is the time. Bid, bid, bid. So thank you, each and every one of you. Please join the first Facebook group. If you haven't, check out all that I have to offer. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button on this. Get the information, put it into action. So I love and adore each and every one of you. Until next time, don't forget, y'all, everything's possible.